Shame on me stopping it at this right very moment. But, well, here we are again. Hi Psyche, hi Sethi, hi Alex. Sorry for being rude, but it had to be done. Otherwise, there would not have been any playing today, right? So, plan for today. We are going to advance with 14 days with you. Maybe I feel like I'm gonna play some Stardew Valley after it. I've updated all my mods and, yeah, put some new mods in there. In 14 days, that's actually 4. That's why the 1 is in parentheses? I think you know what I mean. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna continue. Yeah, whatever that is, exactly. Now, chats are all loaded up. Nice. I would say let's just hop into it and see how far we get. Head hurty today. I know, sweetie. I know. It's gonna be okay. The tits I didn't even see that yesterday. The tits on that man! Holy moly! The titties on him are big. Oh man, I love that. Okay. Let's actually start it up. Yeah, I'm having a bit of a cough today, but I have a lot to drink here. I hope enough, otherwise I'm gonna go refill. And otherwise, let's go. Hi, random. No matter how many times I tried to brush it aside, I still couldn't get my mind off of what just occurred earlier. What if Ren was interested in her? Granted, he probably shouldn't have blandly flirted with her while on a date with me, but he wasn't exactly the most confident guy. Would he still be able to talk to her again if things didn't work out between us? No, I shouldn't be thinking like that. Peering up to gauge his expression, I noticed how he didn't really look all that upset about leaving her. When I see a date, I'm triggered. Why? If anything, he seemed rather content to be walking down the street with his fingers intertwined with mine once more. I can feel him give my hand a protective giving a head a squeeze. He's giving my hand a protective squeeze as he looked down on me with his soft blue eyes, and all of my worries somehow melted away. Maybe I did make the right choice after all. It might have been selfish, but it was worth having Ren look at me with such a gentle expression. Eventually, the sun starts to set behind the ocean as Ren and I continue to walk along the beach walk. Most of the conversation was geared towards me and my interests again, but every time I tried to learn more about Ren, he only seemed to divert the conversation back to me once more. We're playing 14 days, yes, we started it yesterday. But the more I focused on his odd behavior, the more I began to pick up on his social habits as well. I learned that Ren would subtly pick at the sleeves of his cardigan whenever he got nervous, or how he'd scratch at his jaw whenever the conversation strayed down a path he didn't feel comfortable with. His little quirks told me more about himself than the dead-end conversations that only led back to me. And I was content with knowing more about him than I did yesterday. Ren no longer felt like a stranger I had met at the library, but rather someone I could consider a friend. Except friends aren't supposed to get jealous whenever they see them flirt with someone else. Jeez, was that wrong? Oh my god, I'm already stumbling so much. What's wrong with me? Friends with benefits, oh my god, yes. I had barely been 2 days and I was already contemplating whether or not I truly saw Ren in a romantic light. Was I going too fast? All of these thoughts were starting to get a bit overwhelming and... Angel? Hello? Huh? He's spacing out on me again. There's that look again. He keeps peering down at me with so much adoration in his eyes, and if I didn't know any better, I would think that he was already halfway in love with me. But that was very conceited. That was a very conceited thought and probably wasn't even true. Sorry, I was just thinking about things. Are you going to share those things with the rest of the class? He sent me a playful smile and a gentle nudge into my side, and I couldn't help but laugh. I get that, Sethi. Hi, Ali. When did we become so comfortable with each other? And when did he lose his stutter? It's nothing, really. Maybe a bit embarrassing, but, well, I was wondering, how do you feel about... My sentence gets cut short when a drop of rain lands on my cheek. Instinctively, I look up and find myself wondering how I didn't notice those dark clouds in the sky sooner. All of a sudden, more droplets fell down, until it's all but pouring rain and forcing everyone in the area to find cover. Over here! And doesn't seem to pay much attention when he grabs me by the hand and pulls me underneath one of the awnings of a nearby building. What's that? He shields me from the rain with his body, and I couldn't help but feel tiny with the way his arms cage me in as he rests them against the wall. That is very otome-like. Very, oh yeah, exactly, yeah, okay, yeah. What you looking at? Kokomi, what are you looking at? We looked at each other in silence for a brief moment before erupting in laughter. Perhaps it was because of the adrenaline from all the panicked running, or the fact that Ren's hair was starting to lose its fluffiness, but I couldn't hold back from letting out a fit of giggles. This only seemed to spur Ren on as well, until we both wheezing out our lungs and gulping down air. And rain. I can't remember the last time I ran that fast. That's unrealistic, I would never run. Me too. The looming sound of thunder echoes from afar and drowns out our laughter until we both silent once more. Running in the rain makes you more wet, I know, right? Once we both calm down, Ren moves me further away from the rain before casting a glance behind him. Wait here. I'll buy us an umbrella so we can get out of this rain. But you got soaked. This is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I rolled my eyes at his corny joke and sent him off with an amused smile. He doesn't look back before he makes a mad dash out in the rain and down the street towards the closest convenience store. Though the rain only seems to get heavier the moment he leaves, and I find myself pressing even further against the wall behind me to avoid the recoil of the rain bouncing off the pavement. There wasn't much for me to do while I waited for Ren to return, aside from watching people scramble around for shelter. And just like that, the carefree sounds of laughter echoing from down the street capture my attention as I watched Leon, Tio, and Jay all run to cover like their lives depended on it. Well, it seems as though the beach outing got cut short as well. Glancing back once more, I barely make out the figure of Leon using his bag as makeshift umbrella as he ducks under one of the awnings of an ice cream stand. All while Tio and Jay trail behind at a leisurely pace, kicking and splashing water at each other in the rain. That's such a mood, that's actually quite nice. I had to look away the moment Tio started to remove his shirt, and I had an inkling that it was so that he could show off. And knowing Jaehyun, he'd follow along without a care in the world, because that's what he always does when it came to his friends. A part of me felt like calling out to the group to see if I could wait out the storm alongside them, but they all seemed to be enjoying themselves, and I didn't want to get in between that. Plus, I did promise Ren that I'd wait for him here, even if he was taking his sweet time. Was he ever going to return? There was still no sign of him or his comfy-looking cardigan, and I was beginning to wonder if he really did ditch me. After all, it must have been more than 15 minutes by now. What the hell? 15? What if he had got caught up with something? Or what if he went back to see that cashier lady again? Oh, come on, don't be so delulu. Her store did happen to be on the same street, but after spending the afternoon with Ren and getting to know him, I concluded that he wasn't the type of person to do such a thing. Plus, that'd be a really low blow, considering that he was the one who offered to take me out on a date today. 5th day is gonna be out next week for everyone. Oh, cool. Although, if I was being honest with myself, it did seem as though they had chemistry. Especially with how she looked at him and touched his arm, as though it was the most natural thing in the world. She apparently knew him as well, or at least he looked recognizable enough. Why did that thought make my blood boil? Thankfully, the rain was there to cool me off, as well as soak the ends of my outfit and make everything feel damp and uncomfortable. Was Ren really coming back? It shouldn't take this long to buy an umbrella. You would wait. Maybe something did come up. I'm sure he'll come back. And as if on cue, I spot a familiar patch of pink hair from within the misty rain, frantically sprinting with an umbrella in one hand and a bag under the other. Did he get merch? Angel? Saul? Ah! He almost slams into me before stopping just in time, and I could tell by the way he was wheezing that he ran all the way back here without stopping. Sorry, I thought I almost lost you there for a second. It's so hard to see in this weather. Jeez, Ren, what took you so long? Almost wanted to cuss him out for taking well over 20 minutes just to buy a single umbrella, but the genuinely apologetic look on his face made me hold my tongue. Sorry, I ran into your friends from earlier, which took forever for me to shake them off. And then the convenience store ended up closing early due to the sudden weather change, so then I had to go to that awful souvenir shop with that obnoxious and clingy cashier again, and he was talking a mile a minute, and I was worried he'd end up biting off his tongue. Oh, biting his tongue, not biting it off. I mean, it doesn't matter. Gently, I raise a hand to signal him to calm down, and his intense monologue soon comes to a halt. I'm really sorry about making you wait so long, but... Ta-da! I did manage to get an umbrella. Among other things as well. He gives it a small twirl in his hand, sending droplets of water all over the place. We can start heading back home if you want, unless you want to go somewhere specific. Where do you want to go? That would be bouncing the question back. I'm going home alone, and that would be rude. We can go to your apartment. He would certainly say no to that. We can go to my apartment. I'm not sure if I want him in there. I am... He would say yes. I want to save. I want to say go to your apartment, because I'm curious. My apartment? Sure. It's not that far away. We could wait out the storm there if you'd like. I even have a heater and dryer we could use. Yeah, sure, let's do it. Important question, do you have a cat? Otherwise I'm not gonna come. The image of me sitting in front of a warm, cozy heater was too hard to resist, so I end up eagerly stepping on the Ren's umbrella while he leads the way. I mean, he knows my apartment anyways, does he? Despite the heavy downpour of rain, we managed to make it to Ren's apartment complex in one piece. I guess he really wasn't lying when he said his apartment wasn't far from mine. But judging from the pristine interior and fluffy? Huh? And fully functioning elevator, his building seemed to be in far better shape compared to my apartment. The elevator ride could have been a little less awkward though, if it weren't for the slow ascent and tacky music. Or for the fact that Ren deemed it appropriate to shake his hair like a wet dog and get water droplets everywhere. Once the elevator doors slid open, I was immediately met with a grandiose corridor and large spacious doors. And I found myself wondering how much it would cost to live in a place like this. Fun fact, that was my exact same first thought. That must be expensive. Don't look too hard at how messy my place is, okay? I wasn't expecting to have someone over today, so I didn't bother cleaning up. I'm sure it's not as bad as my place, or the entire apartment I live in for that matter. True. Oh, that bad, huh? Maybe you could live with me instead. Sorry, did you say something? No, I mean, well, I was just thinking, it's a bit strange, but no one lives on this floor aside from me. I'm not really sure why, but I'm not gonna complain. I can make as much noise as I want and no one would notice. Great minds think alike, indeed. Ren shoots me a mischievous grin and I find myself wondering what he meant by that. Like, loud music and stuff? Movies? Fucking? Yeah, something like that. He unlocks the door with some electronic card attached to his keychain, and the moment the door swings open, I let out an audible gasp. Ren doesn't seem fazed in the slightest as he flicks on the lights and walks into his own home. But I could only stand at the entrance to his foyer in shock. Yes, foyer. Foyer? He had a whole dang foyer in his apartment. What? Was this even an apartment? Surely a penthouse would have made more sense. Holy crap, Ren, you're loaded! Is there something wrong? What is it? I know the decor is kind of tacky, but it came with the apartment. And I haven't found the time to do anything about it yet. I'm sorry, but are you the long-lost heir of a billionaire or something? This place is huge. We can load him up. Alex! And hello, is that marble? No, I get paid a lot from my job. Enough to afford rent at least. You know, I don't think I've asked you this yet, but what exactly is your job? With sweets. Thank you, Alex, for defining. Thank you. My job is, well, I guess you could say I'm a programmer. I don't know. I just take on a few jobs every so often. Nothing super fancy or anything. Nothing super fancy. Ren, you have marble flooring. That's gonna be cold in winter, but also cold in summer. Leaving the newly discovered programmer at the entrance, I curiously venture further into his apartment. Marble's a pain in the rear and to clean too. Uh-huh. Hello there. You're getting what? Oh, Angel, do you want some slippers? The floors can get cold and your shoes are probably soaked, right? Turning around, I noticed Ren opening a small closet and pulling out a pair of dark house slippers. He took... What? Because Ren is here. Okay. He looks at me with a curious expression but makes no effort to hand them over. Only if you want them. I'll take them, but only because they look like they're... Duchy. they're Duchy. Oh, man. Ren lets out a puff of laughter through his nose at my joke, but doesn't seem to deny it. Were these slippers really from a luxury brand? As I put them on, I noticed how they were in my exact size, and it made me wonder if he had bought a bunch of expensive house slippers in varying sizes. But as funny as that imagery was, how did Ren actually guess my shoe size without seeing my feet? Here, why don't I show you to the bathroom? I'll find you something to wear in the meantime while your clothes are in the dryer. Guess what? Plot twist is a knockoff. I don't think so. Guess what? He coincidentally has our exact clothing size as well, and the perfect outfit. Watch. Or would you prefer a towel instead? I guess that'd make more sense. Sorry, I don't usually invite people over. Seeing his timid side resurface once more, it gave me the sudden urge to tease him. Is it Egyptian cotton? Is it? Don't you have any friends? Am I your first house guest? Just a towel? Heavy emphasis on coincidentally, yes. I don't know. Let me save. Is it Egyptian cotton? Egyptian cotton? What is that? It's kind of in the name, Ren. Well, I don't think my towels come from Egypt. I mean, that's pretty far away. And I can only imagine how expensive the shipping would be. You know what? Forget I asked. He actually looked like he was considering the question, and I had to roll my eyes in good humor. Especially at his comment on shipping being expensive. What were shipping costs to him if he could afford a place like this? Next time he's gonna have Egyptian cotton towels for us, I swear. Thanks for the follow, Nyoka. So, anyway, I'll show you to the bathroom. You can use whatever you want in there. Nothing is off limits. Hair dye. Do you have hair dye? I want hair dye. First, it was offering to spend the night at my place. Then it was asserting himself as my boyfriend in front of my friends. He really doesn't care about personal boundaries, huh? Okay, I'm hydrating. Jeez. There you go. I was beginning to think that Ren didn't really seem to mind when it came to me invalidating his personal bubble as well. Though he still seemed pretty standoffish around Tio and Leon, and it took him a while to warm up to Eleanor back at the library. But it chalked it all up to him being his usual shy, eccentric self. Speaking of being shy, I still noticed how Ren didn't seem to be switching up on his personality as much anymore, and I was beginning to think that he was showing me his real side. I doubted. Up until now, everything felt real and genuine, and I found that we could bounce back with retorts between each other more easily. Though every now and then he might slip up and stutter, but I just assumed it was because my teasing made him flustered. So maybe the timid side of him was genuine after all. But I'll leave some clothes for you outside, and put the plushie I bought for you in your room. In my room? What do you mean in my room? Huh? Yeah, thanks. Jeez, I was zoning out again and completely missed half of what he was saying. Something about clothes? And a plushie he bought? Was he talking about the Haruko plushie I was eyeing up earlier? I mean, he was carrying a gift bag from that souvenir shop earlier. Did he really buy me that toy? Ren, however, doesn't seem to pick up on my confusion though, and invitingly opens the bathroom door for me with a soft smile. My back just cracked from stretching. Oh god, Seti. And so, without trying to make things awkward, I quickly slip inside and lean against the door for support. Which was fortunate for me, because one sweep of the bathroom had me stumbling back in surprise. Ooh, big shower! It's so quiet here, nobody speaks, just me. Mel was speaking. Twitch chat is more active, to be honest, but still. Be glad you're the only one, easier to focus on. Even his restroom looked expensive. I was afraid of touching anything, fearing I'd accidentally break it and end up paying for it. Glancing around again, I noticed how his countertop seems to be void of any dental care, hairbrushes and skincare products, though a few bottles of concealer and open box of hair dye set in the corner near the sink. Well, I guess that answers my burning question on whether or not he naturally had pink hair. But now it made me wonder, if Ren does dye his hair, then what was his natural hair color? Blue. Shorty. There were still so many things I didn't know about that soft-looking guy, and I was beginning to question whether coming here was a good idea or not. With a sigh, I decided not to waste any more time thinking about irrelevant things and instead turned my attention back to the shower. Quickly stripping out of my clothes, I jumped into the unnecessarily large glass booth and turned the water on. Shh. Glancing at Ren's shelf of, albeit limited, hair and body products, I couldn't help but notice that one brand in particular just so happened to be the exact same as mine. Did we use the same body wash? He didn't really smell like me. When did you smell him? But maybe that was because I wasn't paying much attention. I swear to God, he just uses that to rub one off. Oh my god. Scent King, yeah. I mean, who randomly smells people out of the blue anyway? Exactly. What a coincidence times two. Yeah. Shaking my head at such silly notion, I began to scrub away the lingering smell of rain from my body and quickly finish washing up. Bundled up in a warm towel, I crack open the large door and poke my head out into the hallway. True to his words, Ren left a small pile of clothing outside the bathroom, neatly stacked and propped against the side of the wall. Bringing the contents back inside, I noticed that one piece of clothing in particular was rather comfy-looking hoodie. But the design of the front, however, was rather morbid looking and didn't really suit Ren's vibes. Maybe from a horror film or something? Shrugging my shoulders, I put the hoodie on and instantly get enveloped by sheer amount of fabric. I mean, it made sense considering Ren's large and lanky frame, but this was just absurd. I had to stifle a laugh from the amusing sight in the fogged up mirror, but I had to admit that the soft fabric felt nice and warm against my skin. Your light-headed Sethi, did you sniff too much? Even the scent that came from it felt oddly comforting somehow. Turning back to the remaining clothes in the pile, I gently pick up the next item and try to put it on. The grey sweatpants didn't seem to fit the length of my legs despite the number of times I tried to roll up the elastic, but luckily Ren was thoughtful enough to give me other alternatives. The dark pair of shorts seemed like the better option, especially since it came with a drawstring and deep pockets. Grey sweatpants, huh? Grey sweatpants indeed. Alex, what you sent? Oh my god! Yes! That's a good one. Once I was fully dressed, I stepped out of the bathroom and aimlessly walked around until I hear the faint sound of a TV playing. This looks so cold, the room, not gonna lie. Feeling curious, I follow the source of the sound down the hallway. Imagine he's actually bald. I mean, that would make wearing wigs easier. Breaking news. A sudden storm hits the bay as gale force winds and knock over street signs and even awnings. Guests believe that the sudden change of weather will die down soon and to stay safe indoors. I continue to follow the noise until it suddenly cuts out and it changes into a glaring monotone sound, indicating that the television must have lost all signal. And soon enough, I find myself in Ren's spacious lounge room. Aside from the TV, the rest of the lights were off, but I could still make out most of the dark shapes within the room with ease. It was just as... what is that word? Ostentatious? Ostentatious? As the rest of his house. Though I couldn't help but feel like it lacked any form of life. It just didn't seem like someone actually lived here. The furniture was gaudy yet tasteless. There was hardly any personal decoration or colors, and there was nothing that really screamed Ren to me. There were no personal touches, photos, items, hobbies, nothing. Just tacky furniture and the bland smell of something sterile. If I was being honest, it gave off the same vibes as a dentist's clinic or a hospital. Maybe he recently moved in? Oh, look! It's a snatched waist. It's a bit of skin. He's showing a little skin. How very nice of him. Who moved in? Surprised by the sudden voice, I spin on my heel to find Ren coming out from one of the hallways with a new set of comfy clothing. He seemed much more at ease like this, especially with the gentle expression on his face. Hey. That's not true. I'm not shrimping. He has a heart tattoo right there. I was looking for the, like, on the hoodie. Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. There's a heart. He had, like, the thingy here, there. He put makeup over them, didn't he? He put makeup over that shit. It's barely visible. They were way more prominent when he still had the hoodie on. Jeez. I watch as he takes a respectful glance at my attire before sheepishly averting his attention to the ends of his sleeve. Sorry, that's the only pair of clothing I could find that might fit you. It looks really good on you, though. Makes sense he has concealed in the bathroom. Yeah. But still, I almost missed it. That's pretty cool detail, though. Oh, thanks. Like the way that it's not fully covered up. You can even keep him if you want. The sound of thunder rumbling in the distance cuts off Ren's mumbling, and I involuntarily step closer to him. Without missing a beat, he reaches out and rests a protective hand on my shoulder to steady me. Ren idly glances out of the window before turning his undivided attention back to me once more, only this time with a determined look. It's really pouring, huh? I could only nod my head at his words, suddenly feeling sheepish all of a sudden. I really should have checked the weather forecast before I went out today. But to be fair, it didn't look as though it started spontaneously raining when I left my apartment this morning. And I guess I was enjoying my time with Ren to the point where I didn't even realize the weather was turning sour. Angel? Sorry, what did you say? I just asked if you wanted to stay the night here. You know, seeing how hard it's raining out there and your clothes haven't finished drying yet. Bet you haven't even put them in the dryer. It'd be no trouble. I really wouldn't mind at all, but only if you wanna, of course. Staying at his place for the night? Well, this certainly isn't how I expected to end my day. But would it really be that bad? It definitely beats waiting out in the storm and walking home with a bunch of puddles everywhere. Yeah. Choose the second one, Alex. I do not trust you. Alex, I do not trust you. I do not trust you. You say take the second one. I'm not trusting you. I'm gonna take the first. It's Ren trying to help you. Shush. I have seen TikToks like that, but no. To me, this is sus. I guess I could stay if that's really okay with you. Also, no spoilers, Alex, just saying. I know you know it, but I don't. Yeah, of course, it's totally fine. Wow, he really was an energetic, eccentric man, wasn't he? Does he have, like, DID? Let me know if you need any more pillows or blankets. Or if the room gets too cold. I haven't worked out how to use the fancy heater system yet, but I can definitely try. Also, you already know where the bathroom is, but if you... Okay, I think I got it, Ren. Monica 2.0. I shoot him a reassuring smile as I turned to face him at the door. I should have gotten used to his attentive and observant behavior by now, but it still felt like a foreign side of him that I hadn't fully uncovered. Still, at least he wasn't stuttering as much anymore. I know, sorry. I just want you to be as comfortable as possible, so just treat this house like it's your own. Alright, gotcha. He looks like he doesn't want to leave and instead lingers in front of the door a little while longer. Are you sure there isn't anything else you need? Anything at all? He's just a detail-orientated person, not that he knows everything about you, ... What's behind that locked door? Oh, ooh, well. Wait. No, I'm good, thank you. Alright then, if you need anything, my room is just 3 doors down. You don't even have to knock, just let yourself in, okay? In fact, you can even share my bed if you... Okay, gotcha. But I think I'll knock, just to be safe. How could you miss a goodnight kiss? I've known him for 2 days. I'm not gonna let him kiss me goodnight. You really don't have to, but alright. Well, if that's everything, I'll let you get some sleep now. Good night, Saul. Sweet dreams. You've known Saul for 2 days, too. I don't care. That's a different story. I watch in silence as Ren turns on his heel and makes his way towards his own room down the hall. Shaking my head at his odd behavior, I close the door behind me and slowly make my way towards the bed. I notice that the Haruko plushie Ren has bought earlier was sitting atop the sheets, and I gently bring it closer to my chest to give it a soft squeeze. So he really did buy this for me after all. The faintest hint of the faintest hint of cherry and mint emits from the toy and makes my mind drift off to thoughts of that strange pink-haired man once more. Thank you for the follow. They're hydrated. He put sleeping stuff on the plushy bed. He was still as odd as usual, but some parts of him were starting to feel rather endearing. I noticed how he was no longer stuttering as much or acting as shy, and it made me wonder if we were getting closer. Hi, Maggie. Now that I really thought about it, how did I feel about Ren? Decisions. My god, I have to freaking save so much. Thank you for the heart. Thank you. We love Ren. I think my instinct tells me to say I think he's alright. But I'm just gonna say I like him. Okay, so I guess he was kind of cute and endearing in his own way. Ren was very considerate and attentive towards me today, which I really liked. And he even bought me a plushie without being asked. That instantly raises him from a 4 out of a 10 to a solid 7 out of 10. Ren certainly had boyfriend potential, but things were still too awkward between us for it to lead in that direction. Yeah, I'm fine with that. But still, it was nice to think about. He was certainly nice to think about. Rolling onto my side, I hugged the plushie closer so I can be surrounded by his comforting scent and slowly drift off to sleep. Eep eep. The next day will begin. Quick saving. Yes. Day 3 out of 4. The unusual sounds of the city life and traffic pull me away from my slumber, and I wake to the sight of an unfamiliar ceiling. This wasn't my bedroom, and this certainly wasn't my bed. Last I checked, my duvets were patterned purple, a housewarming gift from Violet when I first moved into my apartment, not this dark shade of black. Where the F am I? Alex, welcome, you're in my stream. Confused, I rubbed the sleep from my eyes in order to fully take in the rest of the room. And just like that, memories from yesterday come flooding back. Oh, right. Ren offered to let me stay the night due to the freak storm that swept over Colin Bay. It was sweet of him to do, and it had me wondering where he was right now. I meant in the game. I know. Can't I pull your leg for once? Was he still fast asleep? Or perhaps he was already awake? Deciding there's no time like the present to find out, I stretch out the knots in my body, wake myself up fully, and jump out of bed. As soon as I walk out into the hallway, the mouth-watering scent of something sweet and sugary greets me, and it almost has my feet floating towards the kitchen. Curiosity, or perhaps hunger, takes over my body, and before I know it, I find myself navigating through the maze of Ren's stupidly large apartment. Speaking of the devil. There Ren stands in his kitchen, hunched over the stove with a spatula in one hand, and what looks to be a recipe pulled up on his phone in the other. To be honest, after Caspian Soul 2.0 I didn't really crush on Ren that much. Valid. He doesn't seem to notice my presence yet, so I take the opportunity to study him a little bit more. And although I could only see most of his backside and side profile, I could easily make out the concentrated look on his face as his gaze flits back and forth between his phone and the pan. But just when I think he's about to turn around, Ren lets out a surprised noise and immediately lifts the pan from the stove. Trying on my showkeeper nails because I'm bored? That's fine. Jeez! Sniffing the air, the smell of something burning invades my nostrils and has me retracting back into the living space for some fresh air. Wow. Did Ren really manage to burn a pancake? Or maybe he just wasn't that confident in his cooking. Have you already tried the game A Date with Death? Yep, we have already played through it. Regardless, seeing him put so much effort into something so trivial did manage to pull at my heartstrings. He says fuck without the streamer mode. Ah! the stupid stream mode, but it's just for safety reasons. Deciding I've had my fill of watching Ren, I finally make myself known. Hug him. No. Try to scare him, he's gonna burn himself. I'm saying hello. Stepping a bit closer, I wait until Ren turns around to scrape the burned remnants of pancakes into the bin before calling out to him. Ren? Saul? How long have you been awake? Despite his flustered outburst, Ren doesn't seem to move away from the stove. Good morning, Saul. I was going to surprise you with breakfast in bed. Sorry, did I take too long? It was like I flicked an invisible switch because all of a sudden, Ren was back to the usual timid personality that I'd grown to know. You don't have to go through all that trouble for me. It's fine. I wanted to, really. Here. Without giving me a second to spare, Ren conjures up a plate full of thick, fluffy pancakes from somewhere behind him. He is a magician! Alongside a few toppings as well. I didn't manage to burn these ones at least. Eat as much as you like. I'll have this one. He gestured to the burnt pancake still stuck on the frying pan. No amount of washing and scrubbing would restore that pan to its former glory. Casper burnt them pancakes, hell yeah! It's going to give me diabetes, how sweet he is. Oh no. I still eat them. Yeah. Giving Ren a pitiful look, I deposit a few fluffy pancakes onto my own plate before offering the rest to him as well. Ren, you've made enough to feed an army. Why don't we share? It's okay. I made them all for you, exactly how you like them. First, how do you know how I like my pancakes? Second, do you want me to get fat eating a whole fucking plate of pancakes? Huh? Oh? And how do you know how I like my pancakes? Exactly that. Deciding to tease him a little, I throw the light-hearted accusation into the air and hope that he'll catch it. Huh? Oh, I don't. I suppose... Don't people normally enjoy pancakes this way? I thought maybe... There he goes again, getting flustered beyond belief while his cheeks flush a deep shade of red. It really was adorable. Relax, I'm just teasing you. These pancakes are delicious, by the way. Oh, you were just joking. His mood immediately seemed to perk up once he hears my compliment. We keep getting him and he doesn't know how to lie anymore. True. You like them? Really? You're not lying? Then I'll make them for you again sometime. Only if you want, that is. It's no problem at all. I really don't mind. So how about you just focus on eating first? Aren't you hungry? I snacked on a few pancakes while cooking them. Don't worry about me. You just eat. Do you want some different topics? I've got more strawberries in the fridge. Something inside me told me that Ren was lying, but I didn't feel like calling him out on it. I like how Casper can't cook, Ren can slightly cook, and Sol 2.0 is basically a chef. Sol 2.0 is a housewife. Oh my god, Sethi, that looks so good! What? That looks amazing. Seemingly satisfied with my response, or lack thereof, Ren puts out a pleased hum and instead moves away to busy himself with washing the dishes. My gaze follows him, and I absent-mindedly catch a glimpse at the clock on one of the shelves. 8 o'clock at the dot. Wait a second. 8 o'clock? I was gonna be late for work. As if picking up on my panicked behavior, Ren halts his movements and sends me a curious glance. Crap, I'm going to be late for work again if I don't leave now. I still need to walk home and get changed and... Hey, it's okay, Saul, calm down. Look, your clothes from yesterday are all washed and dry. Why don't you change into them, and when you're ready, I can drop you off at work. Ren... There I go again, relying on his enigma of a man. and taking up too much of his kind hospitality. I was already overstaying my welcome by using his dryer and sleeping in his spare bed. But now here I was, eating his food and being exactly 5 minutes away from getting a lift in his car. He really should be the one He really should be the one being called Angel instead of me. Thank you so much. I owe you my entire life. I wonder if his hair will taste like fish? Huh? Man. And I thought I was being dramatic. Wait, can I make this smaller? I can't. Dang it, sad. Another date with you will do just fine. There. His soft smile is the last thing I see before I head back into the guest bedroom to change. But before I can make it 3 feet away, Ren's voice calls out to me once more. Will Neru taste like fish? Neru is a siren. I do think he will partially taste like fish, yes. Oh, but I should warn you, I don't exactly drive a car. You have a motorcycle? Do you? Turns out, oh my god. Turns out Ren didn't actually own a car like I expected. He owns a dang sports motorcycle. Partially like fish and like human. Yeah, pretty much. You can only eat his tail, I guess. All black, sleek and scary. But what surprised me the most were the faded Always With You sticker decals that adorned the tank. So Ren was a fan of that webcomic as well. Huh, plot twist, he's the one drawing it. I always assumed the community was rather small. There wasn't much to talk about, the webcomic online. So it was nice to know someone else enjoyed it as much as I did. But just as I was about to bring the topic up, my vision goes stark as Ren places a helmet over my head with a smile. He fastens and adjusts the strap before motioning towards the back of his bike with an expectant look. Admittedly, I was a bit hesitant to hop on that thing, but Ren assured me that he'd tell me what to do and keep me safe the entire time. Daunting, couldn't even begin to describe how I felt when the engine turned on, and I was certain Ren had scratch marks with how tightly I was clinging to him, but I somehow came out unscared. Ren is pink and redacted as the emo. Yes, I do know. I even managed to bag myself a nice warm hoodie that smelled like Ren, even if its only purpose was to protect me from the wind and flying debris. And when we parted in front of the library with a friendly goodbye, Ren waited until I was inside the building before taking off. The consequences of my actions, aww. But I barely make it 3 feet inside before a mess of blonde hair enters my field of view and almost knocks me over. Saul, there you are! Quick, I need your help! Eleanor's anxious demeanor catches me off guard and I immediately do a sweep of the library for anything out of place. But I'm hardly given any time to take in my surroundings before Eleanor reaches for my arm and all but drags me behind the reception counter and towards a mountain of paperwork. Stacks upon stacks of books, files, newspapers, and manila folders cover the entire expanse of their desk, and for the briefest moment, it almost resembles a messy archive repository rather than her workstation. What is all this? This was supposed to be sorted out yesterday. I swear I did it already. In fact, I know I did. I remember leaving it all in Conan's office before I left work yesterday. So you can imagine my surprise when I saw it back on my desk this morning. Eleanor seems genuinely concerned, especially with how she's fitting about and pacing back and forth in front of me. It was almost like she'd seen a ghost, and if I didn't know any better, I honestly would have believed it. Please help me. If Conan finds out I somehow messed up again, I don't know what will happen. Hey, don't worry, Elle. I'll help. I doubt Conan will get mad. You know how he is. I suppose you're right. My shoulders seem to visibly relax at my words, and she slumps into her chair with a heavy sigh. Thank you so much, Saul. Do you think you can manage the stack of books? I'll handle all of the files. Without missing a beat, lest our boss magically appears somewhere behind us, we immediately get to work. Canon camera? Huh? Oh, yeah, well. Time flies by quickly when I have my chatty coworker to keep me company. 14 days mentioned, 14 days played. She fills me in on how the freak storm caught everyone off guard, and how some of the patrons shared the same idea of seeking refuge within the library as well. Apparently, Eleanor was the only one around to keep an eye on things, and from the sounds of it, she seemed to take on the leadership role like a pro. Why is this so underrated? I don't know. Probably because visual novels in general have a very niche audience. Still, discussing her whereabouts had me thinking. That reminds me, where did you go the other day? The other day? What do you mean? You remember Ren, the pink-haired guy? Oh, Loverboy! Yeah, him. After we had that conversation with Ren, I never saw you afterwards. Huh? Let me think. I watch as she inclines her head to the side to think, and all too quickly, she snaps her fingers and gave me an affirmative nod. The voice acting? Well, of course. Normal people probably don't enjoy yanderes, yeah. Oh, that's right! Well, this is a bit embarrassing, but I ended up going home early. I must have accidentally bumped into something while cleaning the stockroom the other day, and before I knew it, one of the shelves came tumbling down on me. It wasn't until a little while later when Conan found me and pulled me out. You knocked over an entire shelf? Miss Creston. Knowing I was only teasing, Eleanor sends me a sheepish smile and bows her head to hide her reddening cheeks. But now that I think about it, the shelves in the stockroom had always seemed relatively stable to me. My coworker wasn't known for her strength, so it didn't make much sense for it to topple over that easily. God damn it! You're trying to kill her, what? But thankfully, Eleanor elaborates more, almost as if she could hear the gears in my head working overtime. Well, I suppose it was a tad bit odd. I mean, I've worked in this library for more than 5 years now, and not once had I had so much as of a creak from these shelves. It does seem strange, yeah? Well, I have no doubt Conan will be installing new storage shelves soon. Speaking of, did you notice the new awnings outside the library? I suppose that sudden storm from yesterday had something to do with it. In fact, maybe you heard it on the news already? I heard that all the rain... Our conversation gets cut short as I watch Eleanor's attention drift behind me and towards the flashing red light above one of the shelves. Duty calls, I guess. As soon as she stands, I shoot her an appreciative smile, which she returns with an apologetic one of her own, and meanders her way towards the aisle. Now left to my own devices, I go back to sorting through the books and putting them into separate piles. I manage to get a solid 10 minutes to myself before the sudden sense of unease creeps up to me. It felt as though someone was watching me, so I take a curious sweep across the vicinity to try and locate the source. But nothing seemed out of the ordinary. People were studying, others were quietly typing away at computers, and I could even spot the back of Eleanor's head from her spot near the fantasy fiction aisle. Nothing was out of place yet. That unraveling feeling of having eyes on the back of my head still lingered. In fact, now that I thought about it, it was eerily similar to the feeling I got when I was walking home a few days ago. Violet's words about someone breaking into my apartment echo in my mind before it all suddenly dawns upon me. The supposed person watching me, could it be somehow linked? No, definitely not. Shaking my head, I try to dismiss those unsettling thoughts before they start to develop into something more sinister. There was no one watching me. After all, there was hardly anything impressive about me to warrant a stalker in the first place. I was as plain as they come, And if some loser really did break into my house, they left empty-handed. I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I got no privacy. Oh, that alone clearly proved that I don't own anything worth stealing, except maybe my limited edition Attack on Giant figurines. But even then, I remember thoroughly inspecting my entire apartment once I got home. Nothing was out of place, nor looked it like it had been touched. Everything was as I left it that morning. Yet it still didn't explain why I was feeling this way. Fear and apprehension seemed to overwhelm my senses so much that my mind barely registers the sound of something rustling. And I looked down to see that I had been worrying the papers in my hand for the past few minutes. Have I been stressed out that badly? Jeez. I really was letting all this paranoia get the best of me. Shaking my head once more, I decided it's best not to let those thoughts fester and grow into something far bigger than it should. No one broke into my apartment and no one was watching me right now. I was making a mountain of a molehill and nothing was going to scare me. Who was that? Who are you? Cannot forget the hydration. Hello! Ugh. Wah! Instead of some creepy stalker dressed in all black, I was met with blonde hair and expensive-looking clothing. Was this the person I felt watching me? It was difficult to make out her words over the loud, rapid sounds of my heartbeat, so I tried my best to calm down before responding. Sorry, I didn't notice you come in. Welcome to the Quallen Bay Library. Can I help you with anything? I hope I sounded professional enough, though I'm sure there was still a lingering sense of fear in my words and a facial expression to match. But it starts to dissipate as I take in the woman's appearance. Thank you for sharing the life. Her green eyes seem oddly familiar to me, but what gives it all away is how the woman slightly inclines her head to the side as she looks over me with concern. Surely not. Was that... I don't suppose... Are you Kiara? Eleanor's told me all about you. In the flesh! I'm actually here to visit my darling sister, would you believe? But now you've piqued my interest. She shoots me a harmless wink and rests her hand atop the reception counter. Wow. Even the clanging of her jewelry sounds expensive, and I can't help but look at her in awe. Tell me, what else has Nori said about me? Nori. Hi again. She wants her jacket back. Nails are off. Good job, Pookie. Oh, man. She loves your taste in fat. She wants her to do that one? Okay. I'm gonna. Or what? Surely not that raggedy old thing she always keeps in the trunk of her car? I'm honestly doing her a favor. Besides, doesn't her outfit look cuter without it? I think. So. As if summoning Eleanor herself, she emerged from somewhere behind me and joins us at the front desk. Yara, what are you doing here? There she is. What, am I not allowed to see my little sis? I am at work right now. You could have texted me in advance. But I wanted to surprise you. And look, I come bearing gifts. At that, Yara places down a few bags branded with high-end prints and designer logos. Sorry, darling, if I knew I'd be meeting you here, I would have brought extra. But I'm sure there's something for you in one of the bags as well. Pick whatever Eleanor doesn't want. I genuinely wished I could be rich enough to say something like that. Moot. The sisters seem fully engrossed in each other's presence, so I leave them alone so that they can have their moment to catch up. Let Let me check here real quick. So Ren is on love. Everybody else is on neutral. I'm too cute to reject Delulu. Okay, that's a mood though. Creston20 for 20% off your item. Okay. Why is the hospital so busy? Maple found the treats again. Lots to do today. Okay. Ren is here too. And Tio too. Huh. After all, I didn't know how long it had been since Eleanor and Kiara had seen each other, and the mountain of work in front of me wasn't going to sort itself out in the meantime. Stalker core. But before I can silently slip away and sit back down, a tattooed arm boxes me in and commands my attention. That's the Tio I saw on the map. And for the second time today, the expensive smell of wealth and luxus floods my senses. Only this time, I knew the person who it belonged to. Dang, who they? Well, seemingly out of nowhere, Tio appears with that familiar smirk on his face and an unbothered drawl in his tongue. He is absolutely shameless with how his eyes take in both of the sisters' appearances, before he's leaning more of his weight onto his arm and shooting me an expectant look. Don't even think about it, Tio. Trust me, you don't want to know what I'm thinking about right now. Given how he leans even closer to my side with a sultry grin, I end up believing in his words. After all, I wouldn't put it past Tio to think up multiple ways to cause a scene in his free time. Not jealous, are you? Why would you even... Whether or not it was my sun outburst that captures the attention, Eleanor and Kiara finally seem to notice us, and I thank my lucky stars for a chance to escape this conversation. Ren is watching us, duh, yeah. Perhaps I could sneak off to the employees' lounge while everyone was busy talking. I'm sure... You work here too? I've got a few things here that you could check out. Oh. Despite my disgust at Tio's blatant flirting, Eleanor seems to be eating it up with a slight blush on her cheeks. Oh, actually, I'm just visiting. I don't work here, but Lenore over there does. I'm sure she can help you out. Despite her friendly tone, Kiara seems to be passively shutting down Tio's attempts at flirting and redirecting it towards Eleanor instead. Yet Tio doesn't seem to be picking up on it, instead choosing to lean a little more against the counter, so that his muscles flex under his form-fitted shirt and crosses his ankles. You're not from around here, are you? I'd remember a face like yours. The name's... I have to make sure not to say Theo, because it's not Theo. My name's Theodore, by the way, but cuties like you can call me Tio. Charming. I'm Kiara. And no, I'm only in town for a few weeks. I'm visiting some relatives and finding some inspiration before I head back home. Inspiration, huh? I could show you around. Well, aren't you fun? What about my baby sister? Huh? But I'm older than you. Come on, live a little, Nori. You can always tell me how you hold up at work all the time. I suppose, but... Looks like you're in the need of a bit of fun. I can help with that. My internet's shit today. Oh no, Alex. Have either of you been to the aquarium yet? It opened recently. Not yet, but I'll have to give your offer a pass, I'm afraid. Aquarium's not your style? You're not my style. Ouch. Despite the low blow to his ego, Tio didn't look the least bit offended. In fact, he seems to thrive off it. But as if fate felt the urge to intervene, Kiara's phone suddenly goes off and startles everyone. Sorry, give me a sec, I need to take this call. She slips away before any of us can have the chance to respond, and without missing a beat, Tio immediately takes her previous spot beside Eleanor. What about you? Me? Don't see anyone else around, princess. Oh, well, I mean, I think it'd be fun, but I suppose it would be a bit awkward if it's just you and me. You heard her, doll. As if finally acknowledging my presence, Tio turns to me with an accepting look expecting look on his face. Why didn't you tag along? I'll even see if Leon wants to join the fun. It'll be like a double date. Oh. Where's the mic that Ren has given to us? He certainly heard that. At that, Eleanor visibly seems to relax a little bit. I spare a quick glance in her direction and I can pick up on the barest hint of hope in her eyes. Wait, she wanted to go on a date with Tio? I don't know, Elle. Oh, what? Got better things to do. Look, I'll pay for everything. I can even pick you up as well if you want. Sound good? Not that I'd ever openly admit to Tio, but his offer was finally starting to sound tempting. I mean, free food and a free outing? It was too good to refuse. However... I gotta save again. I would say I'm doing this for Eleanor. Eleanor seems to brighten at that, and her smile just about makes it all worth it. Because I love her, she's sweet. Attaboy, I knew you weren't gonna chicken out on us. Then it's settled. Leon and I will meet you both here tomorrow after work. What time do you finish? Around... There you are, Sol. I didn't realize you were busy. Finally, it was as if someone had heard my prayers this time. Conan emerges from somewhere behind me. What was up with that today? And offers me an escape from the current conversation. And without missing a beat, I turn towards my savior and spare him a thankful glance. I'll make sure to silently apologize to Eleanor as well, clearly uneasy with the thought of leaving her alone with Tio. But she seems all too happy with how she subtly shoos me away with a hand behind her back. Sure, I can slip away for a moment. Did you need anything? Just an extra pair of hands to sort through some boxes. But if you're busy, I'll manage by myself. It's fine. I could use a breather. Okay, so perhaps I didn't need to announce that so joyfully. With warm cheeks, I turned back towards Eleanor and Tio to send them one final apologetic look before following after Conan. Wait, Wagner voice? No! No. Apologies for this. I didn't mean to steal away from your friends. This happened to be sorting through all of the books a co-worker managed to knock over this morning. And making sure they were all in the correct category before putting them back onto the cart. It felt eerily similar to what I had been previously doing with Eleanor, only this time there weren't any Tio-shaped annoyances to keep me company. But man, I swear, Connor had to be the only boss who would be perfectly fine with their employees slacking off to talk with their friends instead. Okay. Let's go. He hadn't said a word about Tio, and possibly Kiara too, depending on how long he'd be standing behind me, and seemed more than okay with us huddling around the reception desk. Deciding not to push my luck, I returned Conan's soft look with one of my own. It's fine, don't worry about it. I've been meaning to ask you something actually. Has everything been going alright with you? Nothing shady has been happening lately? What do you mean? You haven't heard the news? There's been a few murders happening in the Bay Area recently. Yes, sir. Admittedly, I've been worried for your safety as of late. You live by yourself, correct? Yeah, but my neighbor checks in with me almost regularly. Now that I think about it, she's also been concerned for my safety. That's good, I'm glad. Listen, if something ever happens... Conan awkwardly glances over his shoulder before returning his gaze back to me. Nothing but sincerity stares back, and I find myself in a stunned silence. Here, it's my personal number. but due to the lack of clarification, I end up sending him a confused look instead of thanking him. I know you've only recently moved back to Colin Bay, but you've yet to put someone down as your emergency contact. I'm worried you won't have anyone to call in case something does happen. I want to make sure you're safe at all times. Aw, he's so sweet. Thank you. Of course. Thank you, Father. He gives my shoulder a gentle pat before resuming his original task. The conversation falls back into an easy, comfortable silence, and I pocket his number before pouring all of my focus towards the books laid out in front of me. The rest of my shift passes by uneventfully, and at some point Eleanor informs me that Kiara had to leave for a work-related matter and wouldn't be coming back for a few days. She'd even asked Eleanor to give me her number as well. Okay. What's happening? This is not okay. We got a like on Eleanor. Anything new? No? Okay. Can I change my profile picture? No, I can't. Sad. We have a father. She'd even asked Eleanor to give me her number as well, alongside mentioning something about sharing more embarrassing stories about little Nori the next time we talk. Whatever that meant. Still, it was really nice to finally meet Eleanor's sister, and it was even kinder of her to give me a fountain pen before she left. Or at least I assumed it was Kiara. I found the expensive-looking box sitting on my desk once I returned, and I wasted no time opening it up and examining the contents. The pen itself appeared to be made from extremely high-quality materials, and the cursive S+R logo looked rather fancy underneath the light. S+R? Really now? Are you for real? Are you for real? I made a mental note to get something for Kiara as well, before pocketing the pen next to Conin's number and packing up my belongings for the day. We knew he was in the library because he was showing off like in the same area here earlier. R+S? Ren. But as I'm slipping out the library's back door, I notice a familiar broad backside, a patch of blonde hair and a bright red Hawaiian shirt standing near the Eloise entrance. Oh. As if sensing my presence, Leon turns around and greets me with one of his familiar warm smiles. Good day, Don. Been a while. He sends me a toothy grin before making space for me within the group. Eleanor greets me with a delicate wave, and Tio looks moderately annoyed as usual. Tio's just introducing me to Eleanor and yawning about his little outing he had planned. Hey, how come you never told me you've never been to the aquarium before? Makes sense though. I reckon it was built after... What? I reckon it was built a bit after you left the bay, right? So it up you had time to check it out. Pretty much. Most of my free time has been taken up with moving and unpacking boxes. Couldn't help but find myself agreeing with his words. It was crazy how Leon seemed to know me so well, even though we hadn't had the chance to speak to each other like this in a while. But I'm curious to see what it's like. What about you, Nori? I couldn't help but let Kiara's nickname for her slip. Hmm? Oh, yes, I'm the same. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I've never been to an aquarium before, so this should be fun. Well, here's hoping the weather will be more lenient tomorrow. It was pouring down buckets yesterday, wasn't it? Did you make it on my race, Sunfish? All of a sudden, that eerie feeling comes back, and I resist the urge to turn around and look behind me. I only now notice that I've had my back to the dark alleyway this entire time. So? Sorry, what was that? Yo, alright, you look like you've seen a ghost. Huh. He's still fucking close. I watch as Leon looks behind me before glancing at Tio and Eleanor for what seems like reassurance. Ah, nah, it's nothing. I guess I've had a long day at work. Nah, I get it. Feeling tired? You should head home then. Please, don't let us keep you longer than we should. Want me to drop you off? Car's out front. As much as I appreciated everyone's concern, I honestly wanted to be left alone right now to clear my head. And going on a walk would surely do me wonders. Besides, it was still somewhat bright out, and there were people around, so I had no reason to worry about my non-existent stalker. Ha. Haha. I also heard that some new merchandise arrived at the local manga store, which I had been meaning to check out, so that would surely help to get my mind off things. It was along my route home anyways. What harm could possibly come out of a quick detour? At that thought, I quickly placate everyone's concern before bidding my goodbyes and heading off alone down the street. It wasn't until I got far enough away from the library that the eerie feeling started to dissipate. I just remember there's an aquarium in my town. Oh. They have seals. Oh no. Oh no. The nostalgic smell of comic books and plastic greets me as I enter the all-too-familiar manga store, and I immediately beeline my way towards the anime aisle. I was set on collecting the last remaining accessories for my mini Attack on Giants display, and I wasn't about to let my paranoia get in the way of that. But as I was passing through a few of the aisles, I noticed a familiar shade of pink near the cashier. Is that Ren? Is it Ren? Or are we? We're not on the map. Hi. Oh! Oh! Haruko. Oh boy! He's be like, don't be suspicious, don't be Did he get a new tattoo? Oh my god, no. No, no, he got a new tattoo and it says Angel. I can't, dude, no. And on your neck too. On your fucking neck. Oh my god. I can't. Holy shit. I have tears in my eyes. Oh, no. Okay. I didn't even notice his motorbike out front. If he even brought it. Up until now, I always assumed he walked everywhere. And this is the equivalent of getting your partner's name tattooed on the second day or third day of meeting them. On the third day. And you're already getting a tattoo of their name. Bro. He looks so fine. I mean, yes, he looks nicer in this than in the others. In the others, he's not really my style, whatever, but he looks nicer here. And even though he was wearing a mask and had his hair tied back, I could easily make out his large and lanky frame anywhere. But he has his tattoo here again. Is it like wings from the back that go forth? That would be so cool. Sneaking closer, I notice how he appears to be in a hushed conversation with the manager about something confidential, if their closeness was anything to go by, before he places a thick manila envelope into her hands and leans back. Oh, I wonder what's inside. He is drawing that shit, is he not? He is like the author from Haruko, that's why he's so loaded. No, not from Haruko, from that manga, Always With You. Getting your partner's name tattooed regardless of how long people have been together is a big ick. Yes, I do agree. Was Ren trading in some old manga? Oh, what if it's Attack on Giants? Oh, no, I meant that one. Maybe. Though if it is AOG, then I'm not really sure why he'd want to trade them in. With how popular the franchise is currently, there isn't much of a high demand. If anything, there's too much consumable media being produced right now. Everywhere I go, all I see is Haruko, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And speaking of my beloved Haruko, now that I got a better look at Ren, isn't that the limited edition spring Haruko hoodie? I thought they weren't selling them anymore. But just as I'm about to make myself known, to ask questions, Ren is already turning on his heel and slipping behind the large racks filled with cosplays and gaming-themed apparel. What happened to his side floor? His height does him no favors though, as I watch his head peek out from the top while he bobs and weaves his way towards the side entrance. At that very moment, my phone decides to jump scare me by suddenly going off, and it startles me enough to temporarily forget about Ren. Letting out a string of curses, I reach into my back pocket and pull it out, only to see Moth's name flash on the screen. With a grin, I accept the video call and hold the phone up to my face. Hey, listen, now isn't really a good time to talk, but... Oh! Hi, Asher! Oh no, that's terrible. Get well soon. Or, sorry for your loss. Or whatever. Anyway, listen. Guess who won an all-paid holiday trip overseas? Me, that's who. It'd been a while since I'd last seen Moth's face, but they appeared just as boisterous as I remembered them. And for free too! I mean, okay, yeah, I still need to pay for food and stuff, but hey, where are you? I'm at the manga store. Hold on, can we backtrack for a second? You got free tickets? To where? Is that a Haruko figurine? Can you get it for me? Please, 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 please. Moth. I'll pay you back, I promise. I'll pay for shipping too. It's so cute. Look at his little outfit. Look at his tiny little jacket and tiny little shoes. With an eye roll, I reach behind me for the figurine, but not before picking up the accessory I originally came in here for, and slowly make my way towards the cash register. Once Moth's hoots and hollers calm down, I gently try to coax them back into the original topic. Oh, right, you asked where I'm going. Well, it's actually a surprise. Seriously? A good surprise, though. Hey, you're still in Korla... For a brief moment, their screen starts to lag, and a loading signal pops up. Moth? Wait, okay. Their voice cuts in and out, giving an almost robotic effect before the screen eventually fades to black. With a heavy sigh, I end the call and shoot Moth a text to let them know that they got disconnected yet again. But as I absent-mindedly look out the window, I notice the blurry outline of Ren's figure sitting on a bench outside, busying himself with what looks like a phone in his hands. Bitch is hacking our phone. Next! I'm telling you, bitch is hacking our phone and disrupting our call. The cashew... I'm just so sus, I swear. Casper and Ren the hackers. The cashier's voice pulls me away. I swear he probably has a program installed on his phone that notifies him whenever we take calls, whenever we take messages. He probably has our whole phone mirrored so that he gets the same stuff as well. My mind is wandering. The cashier's voice pulls me away from my thoughts, and I quickly pay for my purchases, all while sparing not-so-secretive glances at Ren from beyond the shop window to make sure that he's still there. It was strange, but I couldn't help but hope I'd get a chance to catch up with him on my way out. I know it'd barely been more than a day since I last saw him, but I still wanted to thank him for the date he took me on yesterday. The cashier pulls my attention away by handing me a bag and receipt, and I give them my thanks before making a beeline towards the exit. But just as the door swings open, I noticed that Ren had already left. He was no longer on the bench where I last saw him, and I couldn't spot him on either end of the street either. It was like he was never there in the first place, and I almost find myself wondering if I had imagined the whole thing. I was starting to see him everywhere anyway, and I was beginning to come across as creepy. Shit, he's onto me, fleas. But Cortland Bay isn't that big of a coastal town in retrospect, so I'm sure we were bound to run into each other again sooner or later. I mean, I literally met Ren at my own workplace because we shared a few common interests in books. It just so happened to be about native flora. That kind of stuff wasn't something either of us could control, and I was most likely looking too deep into it still. It felt strange all the same. Oh, well, there was no use dwindling over it. I still had Ren's number saved in my contacts anyway, so I could always shoot him a text, or even call, if I really started to miss him. It was beginning to get dark once I arrived back at my apartment complex, so I quickly ushered my way up the staircase and onto my floor. But as I'm making the long trek up the stairs, I bump into someone lingering around the corner and almost end up tumbling down. Wow! Olivia. Hey, watch it! Glancing up, I notice it's the cashier from yesterday who was glaring daggers at me while I try to steady myself with the railing. Ugh. That was Olivia, wasn't it? She makes no effort to help me, though she does move to the side in order to give me space at the top of the stairs. It's then when I take notice of the giant basket of laundry in her arms, and it makes me wonder if she was actually going to carry it all the way to the laundromat by herself. Clearly, she was stronger than she looked. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Olivia cuts herself off once the severity of the situation finally sinks in, before she sucks her cheek and lets out an exasperated chuckle. Seriously? What could she possibly find so funny about the situation? Of all places, a staircase. Really? Your boyfriend sure has a messed up sense of humor. What? No, it's nothing. Look, I didn't mean to knock you down the staircase like that. I've got a lot on my mind lately and I wasn't looking where I was going. Yeah, it happens. It most certainly didn't. Oh, he did say that he'd push her off the stairs. Yes, true. But Olivia seemed to be having a rough day, so I wasn't going to make things worse by being rude to her. She already looked on edge for some reason, especially with how she kept sneaking glances over both of our shoulders. It was almost like she was looking for something, and I would have asked her about it if she didn't beat me to it. So where's that boyfriend of yours anyways? Not looking around the corner like a creepy psychopath, is he? Who? Seriously? Your boyfriend, the guy you visited the souvenir shop with the other day. Oh, Ren? He's not my boyfriend, we're just... I've never seen that man in my life. Same thing with Tio. Oh man. He's just a friend. For real? Friends don't look at each other that way. What? Are you seriously that dense? Whatever. I'm not even sure why I'm having this conversation with you. Forget it. I'm in a rush, so please move. Clearly done with the conversation, Olivia sidesteps me and starts to make her way down the stairwell, but she only manages to get a few feet away before she turns around once more. Resting her laundry basket on her hip, she looks up at me with an unreadable look. You live on this floor as well? Then it looks like we're going to be seeing each other more often. But just some neighborly advice. If you plan on bringing Ren around, keep it down. I'm not afraid to file a noise complaint. Girl! And with that, she disappears around the corner. What was all that about? Deciding it wasn't worth my time to mull over, I slowly make my way towards my apartment. Bruh. Not bothering to turn on the light, I toss my keys into the tray, shrug off my jacket, and unceremoniously drop myself onto the couch. Today had been a whirlwind of events and emotions, and the worst part was that it still hadn't ended yet. 2 broken necks. I still had an hour or so left before I considered any dinner plans, so I figured I might as well spend the evening winding down in the meantime. All too quickly, an idea pops into my head, and I reach over to grab my phone. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna invite someone. We can invite Ren. Oh. Well. Anyways. Maybe it wasn't such a good idea after all. I mean, I've already spent an entire day talking to my friends, so perhaps it would be the best to simply spend my time with myself instead. After all, I definitely deserve it. So much has been going on lately, and I could use a distraction to take my mind off of things. And so, I decided to make myself an early dinner before settling into the comfort of my bed and catching up onto some webcomics. You won't watch P together? Huh? Once I had nothing else left to do for the night, I get changed into some comfy pajamas and brush my teeth before settling into bed. The newest chapter for Always With You was going to drop in a few hours. Bro, I did understand you, but I do not think it would have been in this version either because of the streamer mode and yeah. And I figured I might as well stay up and read it before going to sleep. But my eyes were starting to get droopy, and all my mind could think about was the double date I had planned with Leon, Theo, and Eleanor tomorrow. Man, I sure hope everything will be fine. But I know worrying about it wasn't going to do me any favors, so I let my pent-up stress out on my pillow by smacking it to make it less lumpy. We drank orange juice. Though the moment I unceremoniously flopped back down, I noticed the cold draft and the fact that my bedroom window was left wide open. Saul? Is it you? Strange. I don't remember opening it either. With a groan, I get up from my bed and go and close it, but once I lock it shut, something moves from within the shadows and startles me. Squinting, I can barely make out the black mass moving through the gap in the fire escape balcony. What was that? A person? Sethi, did you sneeze like a femboy? Is it that? I certainly wouldn't be strange for someone to take a cigarette break at this hour, but I couldn't smell any telltale signs of smoke. I sneezed in lowercase. Oh no. Maybe it was my landlord's cat out for a leisurely midnight stroll. That idea seemed more realistic in my mind. Huh. Yet, despite my futile attempts at calming myself down, I still somehow find the willpower to go back to bed rather than opening the window once more and taking another curious peek outside. I didn't have a death wish, nor did I have the stupidity of those cliché horror film characters. But before I turn away, I double-check to make sure that the window is locked shut and the blinds are fully closed. I wasn't about to risk it. Happy with the precautions I put in place, I made a hasty dive towards the warmth and safety of my bed. Snuggled deep within my blankets, I find it harder and harder to think about someone breaking in, and even more so with keeping my eyes open. Before I knew it, pink-colored sheep slowly filled my mind as I drifted away. It was like a softly breathed out achoo, and I just looked at the fake camera in my room like, did that just happen? Opening my window wide open, Soul 2.0, you're welcome in my room. Soul, Casper, they're welcome. Ren? Not so much. Alright, what I'm gonna do now, though, is save again. Because I can't read anymore. I really can't read anymore. My throat is not doing it.